Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Moose Minute Project on a Wednesday morning. Very cloudy and 73 degrees already this morning, October 30th in southwest Wisconsin. And yes, I still saw bow hunters out today. And I get it. Yep, hunting's hunting. But boy, you don't have a lot of time to recover something that you've shot today. That is for sure. It's 73 degrees and it's only going to get warmer, they say, until the cool front blows in. So we'll see what happens. But welcome to the Moose Minute Project, and I'm glad you tuned in. So, that was just a joke. Take it as a joke. I'm sorry. I don't find, maybe it's because I'm getting older. Or maybe it's because I'm finally speaking my mind because I've read enough and I've studied enough things to say shit isn't funny anymore. And it's getting old that we believe that we can just tell stupid jokes and we can be dumb about things and degrade people and we're just supposed to laugh it off. What happened at Madison Square Garden to me is not a joke. When you call, and I don't care how you want, when you try to justify it by saying it wasn't intended for the people that live there, it is because their landfills are full and, blah, blah, blah. I don't give a shit. I really don't. I don't care. That comment was directed at the people of Puerto Rico, and don't tell me it wasn't, because how it was said, and by the guy that said it, because he has used Hitler in his comic, he's used on all his roast stuff, it's wrong. It is absolutely dead wrong. And I think it's going to become very costly in the long run. And you can say what you want, but he's got Ricky Martin, Bad Bunny. There's a whole lot of people, and they've got millions of followers. And not only that, Puerto Rico votes. So you can say what you want. You can say, Chris, lighten up. It was just a joke. You know what? That stuff becomes not funny. Kind of like as you pick on people about their weight or anything. I went through a bunch of that as a young man when I was, no doubt. And I look back at my high school photos. I don't think I was that heavy, but obviously I was because I was told I was. I was in high school, and you can see, and this is where it was there too, is that the principals and stuff back then said, it's just a joke. You just got to rub it off, let it go, whatever. It's kids being funny. And yet today we're wondering why kids are killing themselves or taking their lives or in depression or whatever else. And that, kids aren't as thick-skinned as they once were. Why should they have to be? Why do kids have to be that way? Why, as parents, aren't you upholding them to a different standard unless it's your standard as well? And I think that's a lot to do with it. You're okay with people degrading others and picking on others to the point that you are honestly hurting. I'm not talking about your beer drinking buddies or whatever hanging out and getting lippy. I'm talking about flat out people being rude, being disgusting about things like this. And it doesn't matter if I'm right or left. Those jokes have started to push the limit. And it started pushing the limit a long time ago. Everybody said, Chris, what? I literally had death threats in school. And the principals just laughed them off. And people go, it wasn't that bad. It was just meant out of a joke. Try to convince somebody that's going through a divorce with their parents or just no real support around them. You move to a new area, whatever it may be, and you are not welcomed by anybody except for a few other kids that are all being put into the same category. I don't think as you grow up, maybe you look back. I'm curious if the kids that did all of that in high school back in the 90s, if they look at themselves now as adults and go, you know what? We did some shitty things. Just curious if that happens or not. Because I'm curious if they did all of those, if they really look back on their behavior. Because it is old. Crap is getting really, really bad. And it's only getting worse with all the name calling and everything else. Take a look. If you're on the whole side of the MAGA thing, take a look at what was said at Madison Square Garden. And if you're holding pom-poms up and cheering about your great success, take a real look at what was said about human beings in general. It is pretty sickening. We are supposed to treat our neighbors as we would want to be treated, and we are supposed to love and respect our neighbors, as long as it is returned as well. If you are saying you are a Christian and you are following and trying to do that, then you really need to reevaluate your heart. And if you are saying what was said at those rallies and everything else was, oh, it's just a joke and get over it, take time to evaluate yourself, and then also take time to have how you evaluate and how you treat others and how you treat those around you. If you are not looking for the best out of all of them, and you are not trying to help with all you can to make sure everybody succeeds around you, you have a problem. And it's an internal problem. And what are you afraid of that you have to bash people down to try to keep them underneath you? What are you truly afraid of? I'm going to tell you what, I don't think the southern border is going to cause the dilemma. I think it is the other race that thinks they are superior over those, and that we need to take them out, per se. Again, just take the name off of it and just listen to what was said at any of these rallies, right or left. And take both names out and just look at what was said. And it is downright sickening. And for somebody to call somebody else out and say, you need to lighten up, it was a joke, it was just bullshit. Don't go there. It is not. And especially for people in your community that are here to do whatever they can do to make your community better. Yes, I know there's bad apples, but there's bad apples in our race too. There's bad apples no matter what. They're human. And they are all raised differently. We don't know. Obviously, the ones that are really worried about them have been raised they've been raised in a pretty privileged environment. Because it's pretty sad when we are trying to do what we do. And they are not the main part of the problem. You can say they are, but they're not. I don't see a big line out next to Schmidt Farms here in town or the chicken farm or anywhere else. I don't see a lot of people standing out there throwing in their job applications to go work for them. And I don't think Cardinal and them would have enough workers to do it. That's why you can say you want to bring all these tariffs and everything else and they're going to bring companies back. No, they aren't. They're not going to bring companies back here. The tariffs are just going to cost the normal people more money because the tariffs get passed on to the companies that are here, not over there. So you can tariffs, put 60% tariffs on China. China doesn't pay it. We do. The company here, like for us, we'll just pay more money. And then pretty soon we won't be able to do it. So if you have anything, and take a look around your house, anything with the word China on it, add 60% to it. And then you're going to say, oh, Chris, it's not worth buying. We can't produce. If you're in management, and if you have been in management, you should be able, and I should say whole goods. I'm not saying our retail goods. I'm not saying if you have a tree pruning business or what, that's labor. You're not going to be affected by that except for your oil that you put, and maybe you can find a company that builds it here in the U.S. But your saws and all that stuff, there isn't any companies in all of the United States that are going to build for the same price or be able to. It's just not going to happen. So you can put tariffs on everything, and it is not going to affect the country that they are coming from. They're not all going to say, oh, we should build in the U.S. A, there's not enough workers to do that. B, you're not going to build it cheap enough for anybody. And trust me, I know this already. We build a product here in the United States, and we lose out all the time to things on eBay and to wherever else it may be, because they're going to go the cheapest. That's why there's no grocery store in Richland Center. It's because Walmart's there. Walmart can buy in the huge quantities that a small grocery store. So everybody says, oh, we need a small grocery store, screw Walmart, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't happen because they can't. People cannot afford, A, they can't get enough workers to help. B, they can't afford it because there's not enough traffic. So start putting your common sense to use. Start using your brain on how this is going to work. It's kind of like how, oh, no tax on overtime. There is going to be no overtime, or they're going to reschedule your hours to where you don't have any. Or those that are on salary or don't have the ability to work overtime, it's going to cost them in the long run. No tips, no taxes on tips. No taxes on your income. No taxes on where are we going to get that money from? We can say, great, no taxes. And then he tells everybody that he's going to cut corporate taxes. Well, you can't keep cutting taxes and expect it not to affect us. It just doesn't happen. You can't do it. So with all the name calling, all the jokes, and all the overpromising on both sides, unfortunately, there's no way around it. It's going to have to take place with, and who should be paying the taxes? Those that make the most money should pay their taxes. But yet they've got ways to get around it with loopholes and everything else. I don't have those loopholes, so most of my income goes to taxes. I don't see where no taxes on overtime is going to help me. We don't have any kind of union bargaining around here in Wisconsin because we're right to work, so there's no union stuff. So you're not going to have the unions fighting for you. It just is unbelievable, the rabbit hole a lot of people have gone down. And then to get messages from people that are in and supposed to be in there to support you and whatever else say, shut up, quit talking, it's not right, here's where you need to be. No, it's not. It's not where I need to be. I need to be able to talk how I feel about it, and if you don't like it, it's okay, walk away. But I'm not going to put up with somebody telling me that, oh, Chris, it's a joke. Just relax. No, it's not a joke. And I'm not relaxing. Because that is just not who I am. I am here for the friends that need it the most. I'm here for, I did everything I could. I'm holding my head high for what I did for my mom. It was everything I could do. And yet, it wasn't enough for a lot of people. It pissed them off. It made them upset with whatever I did. And you know what? It's okay. My life will be drama-free with those gone. Because I'm walking away. I'm walking away from those things, focusing on the things that I have control over. So, stand up for what you believe in, walk away from those that are dragging you down, and take time for yourself and the ones that are closest and love you the most and that are there supporting you. So that's what I had for the Moose Minute today, but I got quite a few people responded to me about there was a local group that said, oh, everybody just sit down and joke about whatever and laugh about it. It's not laughable. And if you're still believing in that guy making you the success you are, you're living under the wrong kind of success. So I don't need dollars to prove I'm successful. Because I guarantee you what, when people talk at your funeral, it isn't going to be like, oh man, he had so many dollars. He was a great success. That's not what they're going to talk about. They're going to talk about who you are as a person and what you did as a person. So, thanks for listening to the Moose Minute Project this morning. I truly appreciate it. I will be back tomorrow morning with another edition of that. So, surround yourself again with those that are close to you and love you and support you for who you are, and walk away from the rest. And as always, take time to bless somebody's day today, and we'll talk again tomorrow.